Hey everyone's Jackal Wolf back in Feed the Beasts Inferno with another tutorial Let's Play video. Last episode we went over the soul sand quests. That was the dead dirt, collect some soul sand, the fungi grass, which is to create some mycelium, and then the warped Nylium quest, which is to transmutate warped Nylium. The result of which is this warped Nylium block in my world. We're going to need this to grow ourselves some warped trees, which is going to give us some warped wood, which we're going to need to progress a little bit further into this pack. So for this episode then, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the Warped Fungus quest. Once we complete this quest, it's actually going to open up a whole bunch of other paths down below us, which is going to give us a few other things to do this episode. But before we get started, now would be a great time to click on that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're alerted every time I post a new video to my channel. Also, if you're enjoying this content, you want support, click on the join button down below. Check out all the perks I got available for my community members. There's a lot of really cool things there. Alternately, you can check out my Patreon page. There's a link down below in the description. But enough about that, let's get back to the video. So, like I said before, we've got the warped Nylium block. All we're going to need now is that warped Nylium fungus. To do that, if we check our little quest guide there, burning mushrooms in the spirit fire has corrupted them into warped fungus. Now, this is a little bit misleading. They are referring to the brown mushrooms only. So if we throw that into the spirit fire, we get that warped fungus. Now, if we were to throw one of the red mushrooms into the spirit fire, we end up getting one of the crimson funguses. So the quest is focused on the warped. The crimson fungus, we've actually got some already right here. And if we had wanted to, we could have grown these pretty much right from the get-go just by placing them on the crimson Nylium that we've already got in our starter area here. But since the quest is focused on the warped fungus, that's what we're going to work on. But feel free to, use the crimson fungus to get yourself some wood and get yourself some decorative wood as well. So as a reward for completing the warped fungus quest, we get 4 more flint, 4 more warped funguses, and then some smoked mushrooms. Now, these are a food source, and there's a little bit of a note down here. If nothing else, I figured out that I can smoke the brown or red mushrooms on the campfire to make delicious smoked mushrooms. So there's another food source. And like I said last episode, there are tons of mushrooms out here. If you ever run out of food, you can turn to these. Very simple, just to fill up that hunger bar. Back to the quest line then, we have now opened up the wood, finally some return to normalcy. Convince a warped fungus to grow. So this is very simple. Like many other Skyblock worlds or Skyblock packs, all we're going to do is plant our fungus or our sapling, and then twerk. Okay, this one seems a little bit shy. There we go. It is now growing a full tree in our world. And really quickly, I'm going to go vein mine. I actually selected a tool. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. You've got to be very quick once the tree grows, because if it's covered for too long, it's going to revert back to netherrack. And we want to keep this warped Nylium basically as long as we can. We can easily make more using the spirit fire, but, we don't really want to have to do that. So beyond the wood that we got, which completes our quest, we've now opened up a whole bunch of other quests in our quest book. Because this has been a fairly short video so far, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the chop and the absence of grass. This is actually going to open up some more down here. But before we do that, let's go clean up this little area here. All right, there we go. So that's all cleaned up right now. We haven't ruined our Nylium block, so we can use it again in the future. But before we do anything, what we're going to want to do is create ourselves a crafting table. We now have a little bit of wood. So 4 planks in our little crafting area gets us our crafting table. And one thing I should actually mention, in the quest book, now that we've gotten the wood, finally some return to normalcy, we've actually opened up a couple more tabs over here. So we already had the sanctuary tab. That was a very simple one. It gives us a bunch of buffs temporarily. We're saving that for when we really need it. But then there's Callie's collectibles, which is sort of a list of things in the world that you're going to want to work towards or try to find. It's simply a check mark at this point, and some of these open up. You can now get them in the future. Next up is the Tiamat's Hoard, which is basically the storage quest tab. We can get a couple of these right away, the drawers and the chests. I'm going to make a chest right now because my inventory is getting pretty full. We'll probably come back in the future and do the storage drawers as a separate episode. Last but not least is the herbs and hexes. This is going to require its own episode as well. It's basically a drying rack and incense and a couple of other things that we're not quite ready to look at yet. But like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of those pieces of wood, We're going to turn it into 8 planks. We're going to make ourselves our first chest. We do get that reward. I'm going to leave it for now. And then I'm just going to go throw a bunch of stuff in here that I don't need right now. Okay, so that's a little bit better. What we're going to do is we're going to go jump back into the A Dark Forest quest tab. And then Chop Chop is going to be our next quest. To complete this one, we got to make ourselves a cutting board and a flint knife. Now, cutting board is very simple. We're going to need some planks and some sticks. Very vanilla stuff. 2 sticks, 4 planks, though, will get us a cutting board. And we can go place this in our world. I'm just going to throw it on top of our crafting table for now. Be careful with it. If you right-click it with something in your offhand, it's going to place that right on top of the cutting board. We're just going to go right-click that again. Throw that light in our offhand because we want this world to be a little bit more lit up than it actually is. And actually, I wonder if, there we go, this works even better. I just went and put that light into our baubles area and yeah, now there's 0 chance of me actually, placing it anywhere in our world. I think that's good. Frees up my offhand. But to continue on with this quest, we're going to need to make ourselves a flint knife. The flint knife is very simple. It is a stick and a piece of flint. That gets us our flint knife. And there we go. That is that quest complete. So 1 cutting board, 1 flint knife gets us some fish stew. So again, a little bit more food there that we're going to want to save. And then jumping back into the quest line there, like I said, we're going to do the absent of grass, touch straw for our last quest today. Straw can be crafted into many useful things. So this is something that's going to be very important. Right now, we don't have a lot of things that can be used with the cutting board. But one thing that we can do, or one thing that we do have a lot of, is going to be the brown and the red mushrooms. So we're going to go right click on the cutting board with the brown mushroom. And then we're going to go right click with the knife. And there we go, we got some straw. We can do the same thing with the red mushrooms with the same output, but there's a ton of other things here that you can use the cutting board for. But in any case, that's given us our straw, so we're going to jump in here. We're going to collect our break for a surprise, and then the Chelicerae. The Chelicerae can be used for a number of different things. Probably the most important thing, or probably the thing we're going to use it for, is going to be this string. The second thing here is this break for surprise. And you may have noticed there's a little tooltip on the loading screen. The surprise is the spiders, or spiders are the surprise. If we go check this out in the JEI, this is actually a spider's egg. So we're going to hold on to these 2 items for the moment. We're not going to use them quite yet because I don't think we're quite ready for what they're going to bring for us. But that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Oh boy. Hopefully you found it important. I should not have put that fire there. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.